this abstract.
Okay. So besides Juan and Jonah, who else is interested in coming on the 14th? I mean, sorry, the 21st.
I can't come.
You can't
We have
come?
guests coming
Okay.
for 2 weeks, so I'll already be
Oh, I saw that
Taking
eye
it, yeah.
rolling in there.
everyone's friends.
I'm not coming.
Okay, all right. All right, so it just might be the three of us then, which is fine. Okay. All right, so we'll chat next week on the details with that then. Okay. All right. So I guess do we want to, Nasreen, I think maybe what we should do, because I know of your work, you know, I don't want to keep you past 2:30, and the problem is sometimes these meetings tend to always seem to go longer than 2:30. So why don't we start with you, Nasreen, today with updates?
Should we record the meeting?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
I know the two of you all met yesterday,
Mhm.
and I sent you the recording this morning.
I met with Junior twice this week, Monday and yesterday. We started working on creating Yellow, the desktop version, the small version. And actually we were able to combine two scenes, the second two scenes. And we took notes and we created a document with all the changes. And I will try to do it myself alone from now until our next meeting on Monday.
All right, so you've got the first two locations.
No,
No.
part 1 and 2. Just at the second location, the two photospheres we put together. Because most of the photospheres, actually all the photospheres are merged in the Yellow version.
Yes.
So we are following actually we are not following it. We were doing we are still under the hood session that we are recording, because there are some decisions that when we change something, we need to go to the code, but we also need to analyze whether the change in the code will break the full version or not, right? So we have been always talking about that and considering what changes we can do to have the full version and the small versions working concomitantly. We are also showing this under the hood how to keep a tidy documentation and how to save time, like double dipping. If you keep the documentation tidy on the Google Doc like this, we can copy and paste in the checking comments in plastic or vice versa. If you make a tidy comment checking in plastic, you can copy them and paste them back here in Google Doc so that all the team can have access. So in these two meetings that we merged Rockport 1 and 2, we created 3 change sets, so 3 versions in the cloud, and the topics were described. And these topics described, they can also be found in the video that was recorded. I left a next steps there for Nasreen as she starts merging the other scenes by herself. If she finds one of these questions or situations that we have to sit together and analyze, what should I do? What if I do something here? What is the outcome? So that she can request another meeting with me so we can make another under the hood, but based on the needs that she identifies.
Good.
We are waiting for Jonah's situation, vision for the dialogue, for the narration to be merged, because it's a different system. Like what Jonah is doing is really upgrading to a whole new level. And
Dialogue has been done. Dialogue has been done. So I can, like, in terms of like I did the E thing, I haven't gone through and put E for like, like the idea for putting E at the end of each dialogue thing. I haven't done that, but everything should be working. So I can merge that.
And I think we do have a question to Dr. Bodzin about the images and videos. So
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
merge the photospheres, should we add all the images in the remaining, the staying photosphere?
So, yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to chat with y'all about. So because, so you're using, and I'm trying to think, so the one that you're using, is it at the water or is it at the bridge? For rock,
The water.
the water, okay. So the,
Rockport only has one photo and one video. So in Rockport is easier because we would be bringing the video to Photosphere 1.
right,
However, in Walnut Port, for instance, there used to be 3 photospheres.
right,
Each photosphere had their collections of photos.
yes.
So what Ms. Ring is asking, should we bring all the historical photos and put in the historical photos panel? Or should we delete stuff?
So I think what we have to do, and I'm happy to sit with you and make decisions. We have to ask ourselves, since this one is themed industrial history. What makes sense in terms of the imagery to have in the merged photosphere? So again, without looking at it, the first at Walnut Port, the first photosphere, correct me if I'm wrong, is at the boat launch.
Yes.
I haven't looked at the artifacts in a while. But my gut feeling is probably anything at that boat launch is not super relevant.
We have a historical photo from the train station.
Yeah, but that's across the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably not too relevant. The important things, I think you're gonna have, the signs are gonna be important to keep. The lock tender's house, there's some historical photos from the lock tender's house. And then in the third photosphere is images on the canal boat repair center. And that's going to be important. And I can't remember if I looked at it. I don't think I looked at it with you, Mr. It was maybe with Jonah. I was looking at it and we were talking through this and deciding why the photosphere taken at the bridge is the one to keep, because we still have the lock tender's house in there. And then downstream, we could easily have an icon there that would get at the info that you could get at with the boat repair, because the boat repair was a little further down the canal over there, the boat repair center.
Okay. So Ms. Ring, the answer is we better take a look and make a decision based on the content.
Yeah, and before you confirm everything, let me help you with that. I mean, schedule a meeting and say, if you want to make a recommendation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess in Unity I can probably look at stuff quickly, right? And instead of having to play through the whole.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. And I might need some assistance with it, but we could probably do that together within Unity, pull that up and make decisions together. So, yeah, so if you want to schedule something or you want to get something on the books for anything like that, we can do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
All right. Hi, Janya. All right, so she's just locked here. We'll give her some time to get them. So Kavya, I saw that there's some documentation in here for that you've made already for TextMesh Pro. You want to turn it over to you and chat about that?
Yep, I'm gonna share my screen so everyone can see this. So after like our meeting, hold up, sorry. Okay, after our meeting on Tuesday, I like found a better understanding of what I was supposed to do by Text Mesh Pro. So I just created like different like tutorials about what to do. So like importing font, creating the Text Mesh Pro from a new font, and then creating material presets, and then changing settings into Text Mesh Pro. And they just go like step by step in the process with like how you found it in Unity as well. And this is what I have so far. I don't know, should I discuss it like more in detail, or should I do like more with it as well?
If it's font asset creator, the plugin that you showed before. This one.
I'm just using a random font from online to import a font.
Oh, you bought, okay, you downloaded the font for you to use as an example, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then the next steps, creating material presets
Reset she's got, yeah.
and changing settings for Text Mesh Pro. You did it all based on the new font that you downloaded, right? Yeah. I think you can continue on this, like just
Yeah.
showing how you added like specific aspects of the font and how, just like we did yesterday in the meeting, if you want to make a local change, you need to use the variables under the Text Mesh Pro UI text component, not change the Text Mesh Pro shader, right? And if you want to have new variations, you need to duplicate the material, name it differently, and then, yeah, I don't know if you did that yet.
I have that create material preset, but I can also create a new one that specifically talks about like duplicating as well.
Oh, so you found it that we can create it, right? Based on the Text Mesh Pro font.
It's kind of a duplicate. So like you create the Text Mesh Pro font already, and then you can make a duplicate, like a preset, a material preset, like a different preset, and then you can utilize that one as well.
I see. I see. So when you create that Text Mesh Pro F material, which allows us to use the new font in Text Mesh Pro, it gives us the basic one, the name of the font, SDF material. And then to create a new preset, it's just like we were duplicating from that original one, and we give a new name. Oh, that's perfect. All right. And you're showing with the arrows. That's great.
This looks great, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if like, is there other things that I should be doing with Text Mesh Pro, like other like components that we should be talking about? These were the three main that I found. I can also document like all the ones that have Text Mesh Pro.
Yeah. I would like you to wrap this part up with the visual example of how to edit the presets, like we did in the video. And naturally, we will be connecting with Quan. I don't know how much documentation Quan did on the link function. It's something that Shanil and I developed last year to allow the mouse click to sense specific words in a paragraph. So we use these specific words, like the highlighted words, to be clickable. And that's an interface with Text Mesh Pro. It's extremely important for us to document that like this, very organized and systematically, because, and Sean, you can remind me, if I'm not mistaken, the syntax of Text Mesh Pro markup language is a little different. So instead of using like angle brackets, they use curly brackets, and it's a little weird. So just for us to be like on top of the process and really knowing what we need to do and how to pass this knowledge along for others, I think the last stage would be checking in with Quan and seeing what he's done, if he's done some documentation, and if not, you could take that over off his plate. So we finalize Text Mesh Pro altogether.
All right, and that's how to make highlighted words clickable, right? Okay, yeah, I'll just consult with Quan.
Yeah, The implementation Quan did like last week. I'm not sure how much of documentation he has completed.
Yeah. All right, and he's not here yet. He should be here, but we'll remember to touch base with him when he gets in here. And we'll tell Quan to make sure he touches base. All right, thanks, Kyle. This is great. Really great.
Yeah, that's amazing, Kyle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move next to our other associates, Jillian and Zhang Yu updates. And Jen's with us too, and Jen too, I see you've joined us by.
Much since the last meeting, so I haven't gotten very far since the last meeting, so I don't really have much to update.
So after last meeting, I just followed writing down some lines for the
Can you
instructions.
speak up a little so we can get you?
So I just write down some lines for the instructions for the controller things. And can you open any slides in one and top one is like.
I'm not sure. Now I remember.
Are you guys sharing anything?
Yes, I remember before you today.
So
Yeah, I'm sorry, we are. And there's this like. I tried to like do some screenshot, like showing like a really rough way of like how my business might look like. So the first step is looking, it's just like similar as the we had got through the story first one. So it's like looking around to find brownie, it will like letting them know like move your head around to look around to find brownie. And the second slide will be like move your controller. Hover around your controller, around you will see a circle with a line showing where you are pointing. So they will like just hover around, and if they move to the next step, they will say make a selection for a brownie. Actually, this is like selection for the brownie, but when I was in a game, it might be the icon information or things, but if it's to the brownie, that would be like to make a selection again, put your pointer over your selection, make sure the circle has covered a selection, then click the trigger button at the front of your either controller. There should be like if you see the screenshot, there is like a controller part. Yeah, controller, it will also have like a picture or showing that controller and a trigger button at the place. And the last step will be like select on a running to start a checklist to make selection again. We'll went over the selection. Make sure the second is clear. So it's the same one, but I haven't updated this part yet.
Okay, this looks great. Let's kind of walk through it though, one by one. So let's start with the first one. And this is in the drive, right? You're working in the drive, so we can edit if we need to. All right, so move your head to look around. Find around.
Wait, let me.
I'm just trying to think about visualize, and let's all try to put our like visualization headsets on. I imagine we have a headset on, right? So let's look at the instruction, and then we can do some quick editing here. We need to move your head around to find Brownie.
So, they already know who Brownie is by the time they look at this?
So right, I probably.
Or should we say, find the avatar Brownie or find the
Let's
helper Brownie or something?
I guess the answer is here. I'm gonna take a snapshot. So
Yeah.
So Brownie is there
we
already.
put the image of Brownie in the prompt, so they know what they should be looking for,
Okay,
right?
that's all I was asking.
Yeah, so let me take a snapshot if I can. For example, this is extra, we don't have that. So the second screen is what we need, and Brownie is here. So look around to find Brownie. And then instead of like having the mouse, it's just gonna like move your head around, right?
And I have like a question here. I wasn't sure here because I guess my computer and my headset, I put a game into my headset. When I was there, the brownie are there. They're like beautiful brownie and beautiful icons. I just want, I'm not sure, will that be the final?
No, that's the prototype.
Okay,
Yeah, those are the assets all scattered around. And Gillian and Jen are working on like making programming and preparing that the ones that will stay. So Shanyu, next step for your slide, you can get this like this website where the high def story is, right?
Yeah.
And then, oops. And then take a snapshot of the screenshot because you don't need to redo it. The tutorial panel already lives in the game. So you would just be making the change of the image and the text in your final version.
All right, so let's. All right. So let's see, move your head to look around to find the number. That seems fine, because you got a headset, all right. Next one,
Probably doesn't need the exclamation point at the end.
Wait, are we revising the text?
Yeah, we wanna make-
Slides.
yeah, we want to make some edits to the text, we want to look at the text, of it.
Okay, so first one.
And I agree with Dave, we probably don't need the explanation. Okay, so that's good, we're all agreed, that would be fine, yeah, okay, all
I
right.
guess the action has highlight. Well, Shani will be checking with the other version.
And should the background picture be the first time they see Brownie? I mean, it looked a little different.
The background picture
When
is
you
going
ran
to
the
be
game.
same as the one of the original version. This is just like a concept prototype that Shani put together to see what words she would be changing. So that's the first step. Yeah. This background is the prototype. It's not what we do.
Because you're gonna be in the scene, you're
Yeah.
gonna be in the first scene, so you're gonna walk in the user, the player. Through what they need to do to get started, so that they.
And is this something they will hear or they will see?
Just
All right, move your control. Move your controller.
I like that.
Move your controller. All right, so yeah, we got two around, so you gotta figure, cover your controller. All right,
Does
so
it
let me ask
matter
the
which
question.
hand they point with?
You're-
Does it matter which hand they point with? I mean, we see two controls. Okay,
So you're saying hover. I'm holding the controller, right? You'll see a circle with a line showing where you are pointing. Do we want to say, move your controller around?
Yeah.
Would that be better than hover? Because you're hovering over text when you want to hover, but here you're just saying
Yeah,
you want to move. Because to see the circle, right? You will see a circle with a line showing where you're pointing. You have to move it, right? You're moving the controller.
now I see the line, but I don't see the circle.
the circle only appears when it hits something that can be interacted with.
Does it need to say that?
Like, do you see a circle with where you were pointing?
where you will see a circle with a line when you hover on some object.
And it's only it's certain kinds of objects, like
The
text
only the
things.
interactable ones.
Yeah, but does it need to say that? I mean, maybe they point to something that's not interactive.
It's not gonna show anything, just like if they point to something that is
How
not
about move your
interactable,
controller around? The circle will appear on all the interactable objects.
Mm,
So let's talk about terminology. So Jean-Yu, the white, you say the white line, but really it's a ray, right? Isn't this a white ray? A white, it's a ray, it's a ray.
wait, this is the terminology for us, not for
Alright.
all of them.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
line.
can see the head of the ray.
All right,
I mean, it could be a pointer, or it can be a line. I don't think it matters. I mean, it's technically not a line because it's tapered. And interactive objects are always text or not always text?
Both
Icons.
Okay,
like
fine.
2D and 3D.
Let's look
Doesn't
over
matter.
here at the end of the line. Oh, let's say the white line, right? It's white. It's always gonna be white, right?
No, I was thinking about that, for both games. Maybe in order to increase the visual feedback when the interactivity is possible, the line could get the color of the icon, like the yellow. Because when it's usually white or whatever, when you hover, it grows. But another reinforcer would be like updating
Changing
the
the color
color of
when
the
it
ray.
hits an interactable object.
See, I think the right word is interactable, not interactive.
Yeah, interactive.
Interactable,
Yeah.
yeah, it should be interactable. I agree. I mean, I think, and this is something that in one of the tutorial modules with Raycast, I think in the feedback, the haptics, it deals with haptic feedback. You want to have some additional feedback that's to the user when something happens. So it's white when you're not interacting, but it should change color when it does hit an interactable object. And I think we should plan the program for that.
Then maybe you say, and the line will change whatever the color is, yellow or whatever. Like it could almost be a compound sentence.
So my question, and Jonah, Quan, I don't know how much you've been programming with the Raycast at all yet, if you've even done it, but it seems to me that we should probably keep the color change consistent for just about everything. I don't know, does people have thoughts about what color you might want to have it change when it hits an interactable object?
For Lehigh Gap Story, we don't have versions, so we usually use the standard black, white, brown, and gold from Lehigh, just like info icon, it's the highlight color. So when we hover, just like also Shanu showed here, the
Yeah,
interactable icons are yellow.
Yeah.
Right, so they could be yellow already, so that when you hover, it's just like the ray, it's getting the color
Yeah.
from the icon.
I
right?
like that.
Yellow,
keeping it the
all
same
right.
color, otherwise it'd be too
All
much.
right, I've got that document, so yellow.
Yes, I was checking with my screen recording. I just want to make sure, I feel like when I was pouring, sometimes even the object is not interactable, it still have the circle showing up. I just want to make sure that we're not doing.
That's different on the computer, right?
Sometimes, for example, we are seeing that I circle, right?
Yeah.
That is what it's being rendered, but sometimes it's the case that that interactable icon has an invisible 3D plane. So when the ray, the pointer, reaches the plane, the circle appears. It doesn't mean that it's on top of what's being rendered, right?
Yeah.
So as long as the circle appears, it should be interactable. Another thing that we learned from the beginning of the summer is that in this system, which is VR UI, if you are not holding the controllers and like the system feels that you lost the second controller, nothing works. You always have to be holding these two controls at the same time. And this is something that we will ask Juan and Jonah to solve towards the end, because we want to be using only one controller, not two.
So that'll go away, okay, so we
Yeah,
don't have. to
there's no
include
need for a
that.
second controller in
Okay.
Lehigh Gap Story.
Again, or watershed explorers.
Watershed Explorers, yes, because it's where you hold the iPad with your second hand.
Oh, right, the iPad interface.
So I'm gonna take a note here. The original. Oh,
And so why don't we just add, circle will create the end of light when you hover over near, create the line when you hover over near, but, the line will change color. Instead of saying yellow, let's just say the line will change color.
Yeah,
As a
Yeah.
separate sentence or with?
Yeah,
and?
just,
So leave a space and capitalize the T and.
yeah, let's make it just a separate, another sentence after that, if you want to add to that after I'm done with that.
Where here?
In
So
the
it says
box,
in the box, circle will create the end of line when you hover over near.
like hit or character return after object,
And then,
two of them.
and then just say, just add, the line will change color.
So the box doesn't get bigger, the text gets smaller, huh?
Yeah, and then you can even put that at the end of that second line.
And this is also not the final visual of the text.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Should all be the same size.
Yeah,
What did you say that I should?
It should be the same size and it'll all be the size of the top line if you take away the character return.
No, wait, this is what, the structure of the tutorial text is like a
Okay.
title and then the instructional text. So the first one, it's the title of that stage. Stage 2, move your controller. And then the smaller text, the second level of size, it's what you should be doing.
But if you do what Al suggested and just add it to the second line, it'll match the font. It'll get bigger.
But we don't want it to get bigger, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Would you like to see that again? Like,
just sort of, yeah, if you bring it back, go ahead, just like go to where you have a line.
Shanil, if you can take the snapshots and add there, it's gonna be easier for us to be showing them. The bad thing about playing the game outside of Unity is that we don't have that control. We can stop in Unity. Here we can't, it's running, right? So listen, this is the title. It should be bigger than the interaction. Like this is all capital letters and this isn't. And here again, another title for the screen and a smaller font for the instruction. So what Shanil did there was following that. There is a topic big, and the instruction that we'll be putting below, whether there is pictures or not, it's smaller, and we highlight the actions, the verbs, so that the person can know what do I need to do to complete this step. Next iteration of the tutorial instruction is going to be more like.
Should it say move the controller? Or is it yours when you're playing? Like, what if it's the class's thing?
Yeah, it's sure.
Your-
Yeah.
Yours.
Oh, and before I forget, John, I remember bring all the snacks in here, some spaggers, cookies and stuff. Why don't you just pull that stuff out of that Wildlands bag and put it on the table for the people to eat? All right. All right, next one.
Should the title be all caps?
It will
To
be,
match
this is
the
the prototype, Dr. Anastasia.
Well, okay, I'm just saying.
But yes, it will be because she's gonna be following the same thing we saw in the original game. To make a selection, begin cover your pointer. So this is the most important information. This is more detailed explanation what we were showing in the previous one. And I think this use the trigger button in this version will need to come here. Because you find Brownie, but how do you engage with Brownie?
Well, right now, I guess in the tutorial, do you want to have Brownie talk first or as part of the tutorial? Or
Yes, it's part of the tutorial.
Yeah,
But like, In the desktop version, we need to see that again. The information for us to engage with Brownie already happens. So first is drag, hold and move your mouse to look around to find Brownie. That's number one. Then click Brownie to hear her story. But then in desktop, the action click is familiar to most of us, but in headset it's not. So that thing that Shani wrote, you need to use the trigger button.
So-
It's important.
All right, so but the sequence is for the tutorial that you're working on is we're going to find Brownie, activate Brownie to talk. Is that what we want to do? And then the next part is then the sign, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's go back to I don't know if we need to look at all this.
Let's look at the tutorial at
All right.
once, all of it.
All
Because before, first is looking around. So move your head. She's done that,
I
right?
don't want to check.
Move your head, look around to find Brownie. So the first step is to find Brownie. Here, maybe Shani, we can have the same thing here, but for the controller, instead of having a whole page, we just have a dialogue, a subtitle box saying, use your trigger button to select or to interact with Brownie here, because they will naturally move the head and they will notice that the screen is moving, right?
Oh. Oh, no, sorry. I was thinking around with, because I was thinking people who have the headset, when they are click inside the game, they already know how to hover and click on this, but I forgot if people are just first time playing it, they don't have that. set.
Right,
Yes.
right. That's why we have to design the tutorial for first time people.
And do you have to say, the game uses only one controller? Like you have to say that?
I don't think so, because
No.
we won't give them two controllers.
Okay.
So
The question though, sorry, like, is there a concern of the player not knowing what the trigger button is, or would there also be like a picture?
that's what we are addressing now. So according to the original game, Brownie is saying, click on me, right? And the bottom instruction, Shani is gonna write that third, what is that again, the slide that she had here. Use the trigger button to make your selection, right? And then she can put this on the bottom box of the dialogue.
Is checklist something they'll know what the checklist is?
We will be communicating all of that during the tutorial, so that's why we are watching the checklist. Let's see here, it's 92. I'm just saving here to make it easier for us to visualize. Ron's gonna start talking now, so we can.
Welcome to Monday. My home. My name is Brown.
So this is new, during the narration on desktop, we could freeze the camera. But in headset, we cannot freeze a person's head, right? So we go back to that theory of three types of interfaces. Are we going to use floating interface here? Or are we going to use the box? Put this like the photos with the narration in the front face of the box. And if they look to another side, we put an arrow like, you gotta look here.
And that's what we talked about. That we can use.
We talked about that for Watershed Explorer, but what about the high gap story? Are we using the box here as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the second stage, exploring. For you to explore, you have to point and click to interact, but it's not a mouse. So instead of saying click to interact, we will reinforce that. Press the trigger to interact with the elements. And then Brownie comes again and reinforces a third time. Like click the info above the sign, but then it's, where are you gonna be using click or?
Pull the trigger.
All this language is very double meaning, right? And it's not good. select
Select.
by, select the icon by pushing in the trigger button.
Yeah, except you don't
Pull
push
the
it,
trigger
you
to
pull it.
select. Yeah.
Well,
Pull
select by
the trigger
using.
feels weird.
Use the say, yeah,
Use
like,
the
You-
trigger to
it's better,
select.
yes,
Better,
Yeah,
yes.
use.
Trigger.
Use
use-
better than shoot
Yeah.
Or pull
You
the-
wanna
pull the
avoid
trigger.
no, we don't want to
Use the trigger to select.
shooting.
Yeah, I like that.
possible.
Yeah, how come it's not shaped like a gun? Shoot, Brownie.
So I'm not, after you can organize the order of the slides, right? So let's say this is gonna be use the trigger button.
Select Brownie, yeah.
The info icon above. All right. So that's the second most important interaction thing that we are teaching them in the tutorial. So we click here. This is what Shani was showing, but by the time they reach here, we hope that they will already have understood that
Yeah.
if they hold, they point, something will enlarge, the line will change the color.
Mhm.
That means you can interact with this. And then getting help, it's the third one, which is a totally new, because in the desktop, we have corners.
Mhm.
In the headset version, we will have Brownie with the balloons. So we will show Brownie with the balloons in that stage. And in the end, it's how do you win this game, right? For you to complete and continue advancing, you have to complete the checklist. So here, it's going to be the same, this last stage of the tutorial. We won't have the corner help. We won't have the corner game buttons because it's usually around Brownie, right? So we will have to see how it looks like.
So the tutorial like walks you through completing the first scene.
Yeah, it's a playthrough tutorial.
Yeah, playthrough.
So this is the end of the first scene / tutorial. And Brownie, she keeps helping you learn and reminding you of how to do stuff.
Mhm.
Like at the first site you have in a photos here, she's right in front of you where the action needs to happen. When you finish interacting and looking around, when you complete the checklist, she appears close to where the trail continues and she talks to you again. So there is like an auditory feedback that gets your attention, right? So if you are wearing the headset and Brownie appears here, you will get the sound coming from behind your back. On the desktop, it's unidirectional
All
sound.
right, let's go back to the slides and just make sure we've got all the notes we in there so that, John, you can move forward with the changes if we need to do some editing. All right, so
Oh, this is beautiful. I love this.
okay, so can you hit, I'm sorry, number 3?
One, two.
Move your controller.
I think there, what you said about completing the checklist to win the game
Number,
ought to be something.
slide 4. I think we looked at slide 4. Right, so
This is
This
gonna
is
be
what-
more specific, like to select Brownie by hovering your pointer. Because isn't that the next step?
Yeah,
It's a new
in
phone.
this, let's use Brownie as the example.
Yeah. Instead of. like,
all right,
general.
so just put
Okay.
a note number 4 at the bottom. Just put a note under there for, or John, can you add in there that you want to make sure that that has to do with Brownie, right? Yeah. Next, all right, so let's look at the texture, but make it cover your pointer. Under your selection. Put a period after your selection. No, sorry, the first selection, sorry. Let me make sure, so let's make sure the circle has, make sure the circle Is cover the selection, make sure the circle, is over the selection, right?
This is all gonna be like written text.
Yeah, this will be popping up in front of me.
It's a lot of text.
Yeah, this is the first draft. We will try to even reduce that after we see how it looks in the final
Outline.
real vision, right? With the design. Here we are just like brainstorming to make sure that the essence of the instruction is there. But then we have to redo it to make it shorter and shorter.
I mean, in the game could come out,
What's that?
in the game, get rid of those words. To make a selection, hover your pointer over,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
hover your pointer. You could almost put buried there.
Yeah,
We can say you.
To make a
only
selection,
need-
hover your pointer over the selection. It's a little, long-winded.
You only need to use the trigger button.
To make a selection, hover your pointer.
Oh, in the game again.
Right,
Make a selection.
yeah, that's what I was talking about.
I'm sorry. Hover your pointer over selection again.
Yeah, right, so I'd get rid of over your selection. I mean, that would make it shorter.
Could we say to select brownie?
To
Or
make a
select brownie
selection,
by
hover your
hovering
pointer.
Your pointer over.
I would
select
even
brownie.
take out over. I mean, make
Say
it
that
as short
again.
as you can.
Select brownie by hovering your pointer over her.
yeah, because you're, yeah,
Because we're telling her what to do next. That's when,
yeah.
now you need to select brownie, basically.
Like brownie
Wow.
and hover your pointer.
By hovering.
By
pointer
hovering.
over, by hovering your pointer over.
Perfect.
With the question, what we just say select brownie by hovering and click your
Then
pointer
click the
over.
trigger.
Select from by hovering your point over.
Or
And click her.
then click the.
We
trigger
need to be very granular. Before clicking, you need to make sure that the circle appears,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Make sure the circle is over brownie.
button. Make sure the circle appears.
Make sure the circle appears over brownie.
Appears over brownie.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
pull the trigger
And
Yeah,
use
bro.
the-
and shoot her.
Then
click, looks good.
click the trigger, but click is good. Click the
Yeah.
trigger button.
But click is
That's
an
good, it's good.
audible
I
thing
image there.
and
So
it doesn't click when you pull the trigger.
It doesn't
Like,
click.
right, and so I'm not sure click is the right word. Cause that's an audible word.
I mean, we use it for mouse. I guess it does make a,
It
You're right.
clicks.
it does click. Tap the
That
trigger.
that can just like,
You have to
without
really pull it
forcing up to-
though. Yeah.
can we,
Doesn't matter.
can we
for now.
break the English language and use a more international one?
Yeah.
Because we can-
You have a better
In,
word.
in video games, say push start. So can we say push the trigger?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a more gamey lingo, but at least we avoid the bad.
Do they
references.
use
Yeah.
the word trigger?
Yeah.
Like you push the trigger?
I don't know
or do
because
you-
I don't play shooting games.
Oh.
Tutorials.
Yeah.
You just know.
I know
You
the
pull
games
it.
that my kids play, they don't tell you to do anything. You just appear and figure it all out. So
Wait,
I mean,
aren't
it's
you,
really
aren't you
interesting.
like generalizing? Next time they start, like, say, that whenever
Yeah.
you start a new game, tell me,
Yeah.
I wanna be there because it's
that's
my
true.
research.
You're right.
And
you're
then
right.
you analyze, and also you can see the
Yeah.
amount of reading. That's a lot of
Yeah.
things that we start doing after we become
Yeah.
game designers.
Are you saying you don't read the directions for anything?
Well, when it comes to, it's funny, the high school students that came in today, I had like 8 guys come in and they all tried PBR. And like, how do I do this? Wait, I got it.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Because like,
So intuitive. for the
what
younger.
happens is, usually they give us the breakdown, the instruction. We usually are like just mashing.
Pulling
the buttons.
away.
Mashing, so
Yeah.
everything disappears, but even so, in this kind of playthrough tutorials, the mini instruction is still there until you succeed in that step.
Yeah.
If you don't succeed, you're stuck in that part of the tutorial. So that's how people figure it out, because they need to do
Yeah.
it on their, unless they won't be able to advance.
I'm not sure you need the on brownie in the second line. Make sure the circle appears.
Okay,
You, because they've already selected brownie.
That's
Okay.
true.
Then push the trigger
Yeah.
button
Could you change?
on the
You
controller.
also change the only trigger button to use only the trigger button. I mean, we put it trigger
How
button.
about push the trigger on the controller?
Yeah, I just say quick search. People are used to the word push.
Push. Perfect.
Push.
to interact.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
All right, so this is paired with number 2 because we have to move the controller and we tell them how to select brownie. So Shen, you can make use of this bottom interface of the narration panel. And also, I think this balloon is sufficient because Brown is asking like, click on me, right?
I thought we weren't gonna have the balloons with the speech, though. I thought when you hovered over Brownie, he was gonna talk, she was gonna talk.
We usually have both as much as we can for not allowing multimodality. If they don't like reading, they can listen to it, or if they don't have audio or have the audio issues, disabilities, they can read, vice
So
versa.
we'll still have the balloon with the speech. I thought last time we said we weren't going to. We were just gonna have the icons, and that when you hovered over Brownie, she would speak.
When she speaks, what happens,
The
it's
balloon
gonna,
pop
the-
up, or the text.
the
come up
text
in a
will pop up
box.
underneath.
Okay, so it won't have a balloon with.
No, the only
speech.
balloons are gonna
That's
be
good.
those two help
Okay,
type
that's right.
things on both sides.
One thing that I am visualizing when you're speaking is that
Mhm.
maybe we shouldn't have the icons, the menu icons with a brownie prompt balloon. It's either brownie prompt balloon because if she's prompting the player, it's because they need to take an action
Yeah.
other than going to the pause menu or changing the options.
Mhm.
After they do what she's asking and she appears again in the environment, then we give them the options or the adjustment balloons without she saying anything, just the icons around her.
Just as like.
Yeah, it's
helper
either one,
PvP,
yeah. Because we'll be teaching them that in the third stage of the tutorial, right? All right. Should we go next?
Yep.
So this is already happening here. So the fourth one, according to the, maybe we don't need to do the same of the desktop. The next stage after we interact with Brownie and she narrates the first scenario, it's like explore the secrets of the Lehigh Gap, explore the secrets of the Lehigh Gap, and then it shows like the mouse hovering onto various types of elements. And then we say, now it's your turn.
Mhm.
Hover and click to
Yeah,
explore the secrets.
or
So
to complete your checklist or something like that.
the checklist is the last one.
Oh, that's,
Yeah, so you have to get into the sign mix.
yeah. But they have to hover and select on things to complete their checklist items. Right?
Yeah, what we want to do next, I think, is we want to get them to point the line at the eye, the information sign.
Yeah. By this point, as long as they know what they need to do, you don't have to tell them how to select that
Right,
eye, right?
Right, just point,
Yeah,
yeah.
like select,
select the
complete
icon.
the rest of the checklist. Or, select the rest of the interactables in the scene.
Somewhere near here, you need to say, complete the checklist to win.
It's the last one.
Yeah, the next is just gotta get them to point, select, hover and select the information, select the information sign, right?
I'm gonna open the debate here because it's easier.
Continue exploring or something.
Instead of Lehigh Gap, no. That's fine. Uh, I guess maybe we should like, we should leave it for Shani to continue working because now she has gotten a better
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, but let's just at least, let's get in the right sequence and agree on the sequence. So the next one would just be, you know, pretty much just, as you sure select, no, go back to where you were, Junior, please. So from here, click, what's number 6 say? You got. So we're not actually getting to the checklist yet. Here in the sequence,
This is the text that happens when we ask them to click on Brownie.
right, okay,
Because Brownie says that, click on me to start the
Yeah.
checklist.
uh-huh,
So this is not necessary anymore here.
yeah, I don't think that's needed right now, this one.
So I was going to the gaming unit because then we can see one by one. Here, there's the tutorial UI.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't have to be exactly like the desktop version.
But we can get an idea of what needs to be.
Right. But let's go back to the PowerPoint. So here, the idea here is just that the checklist. Do you have, after Brownie talks, do you want to call the attention to the checklist here, or do you want to wait till the end?
Until the end, because just
All
like
right.
he said, it's the how you win the game.
Okay, so that,
I mean, that
So
picture
that's
is
number-
effective, you
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah.
got the arrow in it
so this
and
is good, but let's go back to number 6. Number 6, this needs to get modified, so just put a note there, underneath it says this needs to get modified in the sequence, the checklist will come at the end. Just want to make sure that, John, you get the right prompts to reorder things, okay. Okay, and then let's look at number 7. All right, which is right. This is next is, so you'll have to add the text to basically select the I sign, right? And then the next one should be number 8, should be about zooming in, hopefully. So we need select rank check to make sure.
This is the thing that we were just.
Yeah, because in previous one, we have like 2 selections. The first one is how to select, the second one is like running to start a checklist. And now we have like combined this together, so this part is actually unnecessary for now.
Yeah, because this is the explore things. We are doing this now when we teach them how to show other things other than Brown.
But we want to get them, click the sign to get it, and then we need to, I think, let just a quick instruction that says you can select the magnifiers to enlarge the text and the images.
I think that should be in the second part of tutorial, because in the desktop VR game, after they select Brownie starts to have like this is that Osprey House one, the audio part for that one. And then they move to the second tutorial of exploring around, and that's how they zoom in and select, other information.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, once you get to the sign, which we were at number 5, right? Number 5. You're now at the sign. As soon as you get into the sign, click the sign, it opens, right? And then the next one after opening the sign is hover on the magnifying glass to enlarge images and text. And that's all it needs to say.
Okay.
And then we get to the checklist. Would be after enlarging this. No,
Asking for help.
asking for help.
That's
Okay.
why I'm saying
All right,
like
all
for
right.
3 hours that the order is in the desktop. We have already done this 2
All right.
years ago.
Outline it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Just play through
And then,
outline it.
all right, so then just make a note here. Insert another slide, I guess, and then say the next slide sentence is help. All right, and then insert a new slide, which is going to be completing the checklist. It's just notice and complete the checklist. Yes. So I think we got everything in there now, showing you that you'll be able to, for hopefully Monday, maybe,
Yeah.
finish it up, and then we'll look at it Monday and finalize it all, hopefully.
The
Good.
image on the previous screen didn't show the magnifying glass,
It showed.
Yeah, there's a.
and I missed it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right, it's on those three pictures.
Yep.
Now, if the line turns yellow, it will be that brighter yellow.
The
Or-
same yellow of the original icon.
No, I know, but the line is gonna turn yellow too, right? But that bright yellow, not the sign yellow.
Yeah,
The yellow of the magnifying lens item, not the sign yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can we also add a vibrate things on a controller?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll add that to the notes.
And that is already prepared in the inspector. It's just disabled. If you enable the haptics feedback, it's gonna happen.
Very nice.
Great. All right, I think we can move on. So, Quan, when we're done, I need to talk to you.
What are they going to?
So we'll shift to Jonah and Quan now
All right.
for updates.
is Jen here? Does she?
Yeah,
did
or
she show
Jen,
up?
yeah,
Does she
sorry,
have
yeah,
any
Jen, do you have any
She got some
update?
things.
The bad thing about sharing is we don't see it.
Yeah. I don't know if she had anything to share.
Jen is in her iPhone, so she won't be
Oh,
able to share anything visually.
Oh, I can talk though.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
So I got Brownie to with the Raycast, when you trigger him, he'll speak and a panel will come up saying what he's you can read what it says.
Mhm.
And I'm working on the other 4.
Yeah,
Just putting that onto there. But when I played with it on my headset, both of my controllers had control panels attached to them that I couldn't get rid of.
yes.
Okay.
That is the prototype called VR UI. So
Okay.
we are not using that, so you can disable that.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, then everything's
that,
going to be
those.
working.
Yeah, because there are two, right? So you can disable those panels.
Okay.
Mhm.
The other thing that I just realized today is that my VR goggles don't have the ability to see anything other than what's in the goggles. Like everybody else, I guess, can see what's going on around them.
You can, it's just for you to change the settings. That's called pass through.
I know, I tried. It didn't work.
You heard goggles were, she was in earlier, and her guardian doesn't work. She can go anywhere and nothing will like, so like, let's say she's in the lobby of the game, or just like, just a lobby in general, knock us. If you walk out of the space, it'll be like, hey, you walk into space, whether you're in stationary mode or room scale mode. So with her, she can really go all the way over there and all the way back, and nothing will tell you any error, any like, you know,
Yeah, nothing.
if you're gonna hit this, you know, whatever.
Yep, I tried resetting it. The only thing that I haven't done is a hard factory reset. But the reason I say something is because I didn't know
Mhm.
that it was wrong. So I don't know if Jillian or anybody else who has goggles out, if yours do that, can you see your hands and people sitting across from you? And
Not when I'm in the experience.
yeah, so hers is the same as mine. Take a look at hers.
When you move out of the room scale, you can then see other people, but if you're within.
And boundary as well.
If you're within your boundary, you'll see what's leaking.
Yeah.
Well, again, which is.
That's
if you-
correct.
Yeah, so if you were to like leave your boundary,
Yeah.
then be like, okay,
Then I can,
okay, then you can. see.
yeah, Yeah.
With hers, it just doesn't show in general.
So you just, what I'm saying is like, you just need to make it 100% sure that the settings of the Oculus headset is, you are allowing pass-through to happen. We don't know if your configuration was standard from the get-go. Before doing a soft reset, just make sure that you see and you compare on the settings panel. Like when we are in the Oculus home and you press the Oculus button, you can open the quick settings panel, and one of the buttons, the big buttons for you to press is like pass through. So it's
Yeah.
a toggle button. So press once, go outside the boundary. If it doesn't show the real life in grayscale, go back to inside the boundary, see your home again, toggle the button once again, go outside. If both of the times you didn't see anything, then something else might be happening and a soft reset is recommended.
Okay. Okay, so now if I tap my goggles, I pass, everything goes black. It says tap Oculus for pass through and then tap to get out. But when I tap to get in, it's all black.
So it
Is
must
that
be
right?
glitched. No, it's not right. So you should reset your Oculus.
Reset, sounds like a reset.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Okay.
that's it.
Thank you,
So,
Jen.
so Jen,
Mhm.
next Monday, when do you leave?
Tomorrow.
Oh, rats. I was kind of hoping to see what you did.
Yeah,
All right.
we should be able to see it in plastic if she
Yeah.
sees it. we can
Yeah,
put
so
it
Yeah.
up, take a
Take shirts
look.
up the plastic and we'll try to remember to take a look next Monday. I'll make a note here. Let's view this on Monday.
Okay, I'll try to, save it up to plastic. I'll try to do that.
Just highlight that. Great, thanks, Jim. All right,
Yep.
Jonah and Quan updates.
Yep, so I mentioned that I was able to officially, get everything in the dialogue, script to work, especially with, we talked about, I had the dialogue going when you press continue, but the issue was, how do we exit, just via any code, and our solution was to add a letter E to the end of each, dialogue scene, at the end of each dialogue scene or narration. And luckily, apparently there's a certain command in C# that's literally last character. Like look at last character. That's it. It's one line of code. And it was made C#. Yeah.
Can you show us the difference between last meeting and this meeting to see if there is anything missing?
Yeah.
While we are waiting for Unity, tomorrow is the press conference, so if you want to attend the press conference, you need to go to our Google Docs, Google Calendar. There is a press conference block from 10:30 to 12 p.m. And if you click it, there is a registration form, and there are some instructions for you to select the second option, which is the time block that our group is going to be presenting.
So is that web address?
The 10:30.
Yeah.
Oh, so they, I see. So we have, I guess I'm looking at, this must be,
Ours is from 10:30 to 11:15.
right. But I'm seeing, oh, it's Mountaintop. So he's got the links on the Mountaintop calendar.
Oh, I also put in our lab.
The registration form?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm seeing, Dave, and I don't know if you're subscribed to the Mountaintop calendar. But this looks, he's got a Zoom meeting link there. They're supposed to send us something. I can just send you this, Dave. Here's the Zoom meeting. I'll send it to you an email so you have it.
I'm probably gonna be in Pelham Magnet
Oh, okay,
tomorrow
so
at that
At that time, all right. Yeah, I assume that.
We use abstract deadlines over. I
and,
gotta make a lot of.
they're-
measurements.
They're scheduled 10:46.
I have a thing up, so basically, it's very, like I said, it's very. Ends with, love it. Great things to each other.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Like, if I didn't have that, it would have been way harder. Yeah, I would have to iterate through the entire string, but it has end with it, so basically it just says if. This key, the key that we have, whatever it means, it's,
The database code, right? Yeah, the key.
yeah, the key, if this key ends with a E. This is actually E quotation mark, but written as quotation marks in the. No. Also renamed it the dialogue sheet, so that's. I think that sounds better. As you can see, each key has quotation mark, you know why it has quotation mark, it's hard to do Excel. But that quotation mark is part of the string, that's why it's E quotation mark. But if we go to Mira.
The first line on this screen.
Yeah, I put an E here. So you'll know, play it. Also, it does recognize every single, not just rock for every single key. You can see that when I click continue here. You look at the console. This is technically the 349 text, 349 dialogue. If we, no, I just realized. I think that.
It's because the old system is still activated, because in the past we had the continue button to be enabling.
Yeah.
Also, this is disabled, you can remove that, right? Yeah.
So it seems like even though you got working, you need to run through everything and troubleshoot, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, and Jonah, this is, and again, a lot of times with this, and if you get to the point where it's good to have an extra set of eyes, so if you want me after the meeting today, or we schedule a time where I can play through it and try to catch stuff,
Yeah.
you know, we can do that too. But yeah, that's like I said, that continue thing you need to fix, so I'm just gonna put a note here that you've got it working, but you need to run through it and troubleshoot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another thing for this, you need to
and yeah, go ahead.
work on the anchors so that the box grows upwards, not downwards.
Say that again, Junior.
In the vertical.
The expandable text box container should go up.
So I have it first side, so.
No, not there. I mean, the anchors on the rect transform. On the first yes, there.
Oh, that's where, okay.
As you change it in the scene view, you can see where the anchors are. So you should put the anchors in the bottom part so that if it needs to grow, it goes up, not down.
So if I would have like changed it to like one.
Like in the game view, you cannot see the anchor. You gotta go to scene view. Now press 2D. So can you see, like, I'm gonna annotate here with Zoom so everybody can see. There, the anchor is here in the middle of the outside canvas. So you need to make sure that this now let me go on. Okay. You need to make sure that this anchors is higher. It's like anchored on the bottom part. So whenever the expandable text box container expands, it goes up
Down.
because below it's anchored. It cannot move anymore.
Okay. Yeah, and another thing I was doing on the IVR yellow version, I put my dialogue. I implemented the dialogue over. And for some reason, it worked perfectly on here. But all code, maybe I did something yesterday, messed something up, but like most codes, like the code in my IVR yellow just isn't. There's nothing wrong with it. It just it's not opening. Not really why. And it must be something I did because it was opening, and then like 15 minutes later when I tried again, it stopped.
What do you mean not opening?
Like basically it says, you know, like if code doesn't work, it'll just be like,
So
blank.
we are, oh,
or you technically. Better. See how this script here is like faded gray.
mhm. It's always like that.
And then if I go to open it, like edit script. It's that. Which is weird. I mean, I can still open it if I go to project.
It's because Microsoft Visual Studio, when I was trying to fix the thing of Microsoft, I noticed that we have two Visual Studios. So you have to update the external IDE. You go to preferences, external tools. Here it's missing. So I have to choose this one. So now Unity knows which IDE you prefer. And if you click twice, it should open the correct one. Okay.
But it still doesn't like, yeah, this isn't the problem with, because it works on desktop. I don't know why, and there's no errors pop up on the so there's no issue. But for some odd reason on the Unity,
Does the code still run or
no,
no?
because it's blank, it's nothing, it's supposed to be like 5 fields, key, where the.
But did you see that when you were trying to implement, you deleted the dialog script? So
Yeah,
there's no dialog sorts anymore. What you need to continue doing is to make sure that this code here that you created,
Alright.
I don't even know if this is the old one, it's not the new one. Because this old one, it relied on the old dialog code that is not here anymore.
no, that's the new one. I think it has to be, because, well, let me check.
I just opened the code, the text localizer UI in Visual Studio.
Oh, it is here, is it? This is the, yeah, no, this is the new one, because this is. Yeah. Like, even if I go to drag in there. That's how you know it.
Delete, there, that should be a unit thing. You remove this script and do it again.
It's named correctly. That usually means there are two things with that. It means either mono behavior is not implemented into the script, or the name of the class is not being typed with but it is.
Close Unity and open again because we just reconnected the IDE with Unity. This is one of #1 rules. When Unity is giving you
Shut up, yeah.
unusual
Yeah.
issues, you have to restart it.
Yeah. Definitely great. I spent a couple hours trying to figure out.
Mono behavior hasn't been activated yet. So you cannot do anything, just like John said, you cannot do anything until mono behavior becomes green.
Wait, does this happen with every script or?
I don't know.
So other thing is,
Hey,
On the other
John,
project-
there's your ID.
another issue that maybe the package for using Visual Studio is not up to date. Why is this locked? Let's open any other code.
And that works, you can tell because it's the.
It's showing the variables.
It's showing there. So you see how all this can pop up?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
my code, almost was that.
So here, it's inheriting from OBR core. So I need to open one script that is from us. It's now working. Yeah. So let's go there again. Is this dialog box that you need the code on?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Text law. Yeah. Wait. Now it's.
It's a very puzzling glitch that I just.
Text assets and centralized in white.
Right, drag you to like a different game on it.
Okay, okay. Text localizer in UI.
So how much longer you want to keep going at this, or can we move on to Quan and then come back to this?
Keep going.
Junior?
You can go to one.
All right, Quan.
Okay, so for actual Monday, I've been able to. But do you want me to go like turn it overall what it is or go like each item?
Show your stuff, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Go
Should I
ahead.
share my screen?
Yeah, let's just let Quan share screen.
Jonah, write that in the sprint report, take some snapshots. That's a weird issue. We gotta go to the community. Yeah. Only this code is not opening.
I mean, it could be.
And that's mono behavior, right?
Um,
Is the issue. Mono behavior.
It's either my behavior or the other behavior, but it's definitely not. It's affects. It could be because. The watershed explorer is version 2020. So maybe there's some type of, this is 2022, maybe there's some type of.
But why the other scripts work and not only yours?
Exactly.
So for the code workbooks, like I use Junior Box and like use that hanger. So like generating water. So now right now, like it's just it will always appear up there. And if you change the position of the thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, if you change even if you change the position of the narration text, it will always appear generally up there. And will always, yeah, it happens for all the clickable text for that narration.
Like, while the panel is open, try to move the position Y up or down to see if it's gonna follow.
Wait, wow, what's happening
On the Rex transform,
on the direction form?
move the position Y.
Why here?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if Cause like, I don't seem to update during that, but if I,
Oh, but if you
And
do it first and then it's gonna
Yeah.
show there above the panel, right?
yeah. That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah, that's perfect.
and for the clickable text, I also made this. I had a little problem with the scale and I fixed that, and it's also stationary for now, for panels like this.
Mhm.
Yeah, and now it's a little bit more to the side.
And it's also aligned to the panel, not to looking at the camera.
Yep,
Yeah, it's good.
and
Really good job.
And I also got the video working, and when the video was done, it will transfer to next. Right now, the video is set up just like for debug sake, and once the video is done, it should transfer like that. It should change to new scene like that.
All right.
Okay, right now, for like the changing of the scenes, you will have to like manually add it on the update scene and. Wait, let me show you something. So the way that I am changing the scenes right now is that when the video is done, I change to the scene that has the name of the thing. And to do that, you only need to add the scene into the build settings. So it's just like, this is the example scene I'm using. And put a name there. And when the video is done, it should automatically transfer to that.
Okay, so in every scene, you will have to write the name of the next scene so that after the video plays, it can load that respective scene.
Yeah, that's for right now because the function I'm using is like the load scene async scene. And that's the most optimized way I'm doing it so far. I'm probably gonna try to find like a better way, but right now for that way, you have to have like a name of the scene, like the next scene that you're changing into. And I didn't want to hard code it instead of that, so I just made it a variable that you can input there to change the scene into.
Wait,
Does it work? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, let me change the.
Hey,
scene back.
before you change a weight, does it matter that the shadows aren't consistent? That if the
Yeah.
guardrail shadow is to the right, but that other shadow is going straight ahead. It's not coming from the right.
Wait, you mean like the shadows down here?
Right, the shadows.
Uh-huh.
The guardrail shadow and that shadow you were just pointing at are not
Yeah.
going in the same direction. No, doesn't
this
matter.
is not up to us, it's up to God.
Okay,
We took a
just
photo,
checking.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we cannot edit the shadow document.
I'm not supposed to notice those things.
But it's good that you have a sharp eye like an eagle because you find lots of stuff that.
Yeah.
So, and like, this is happening like after you click the next, like, you change to like the next sign, just this one. They should have like the boxer thing and the should play and change to a new scene.
I have two questions, maybe one question and one comment.
Mhm.
Question, have you documented this process?
Yes, I haven't documented how to do it. I've documented that I've done it. I don't really know how to.
You have to document,
Yeah.
you've done it and how to
Okay.
do it, otherwise no one will be able to
Got it.
reproduce it. And second, you said something that makes sense. You need to see if this is working well because the loading scene asynchronously
Mhm.
relies on the processing power of the
Yeah,
computer or whatever. So in the original Watershed Explorers, when we were test using among our external partners, people said that the computer was flying out of the blue, like and other people said that the photosphere didn't load, it was just black. And I was using a loading scene asynchronously as well. So you, after you say like, oh, I documented, this is the process, it's working. You need to start trying in many different computers.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
This is desktop version you're working on, not the.
No, this is the VR version.
VR
because I'm
version,
using
yeah.
a simulator on the.
So if it's working on the headset,
Yeah,
without the headset being connected to the computer, then it's fine because all the headsets are the same.
Yeah,
and you've tested it with a headset on.
yeah.
Yeah, but do, yeah.
Oh,
So-
whoa, no. headset on, but he tested while connected to the computer. So he was relying on his processing power of the computer.
Okay,
He need to bake the game into the headset
Oh,
and
yeah,
run
I
it
know.
only with the headset to rely on the hardware of the headset.
yeah, okay, do that then. And
If
then,
it works, fine, mission accomplished, flying colors. But if you see that it's sluggish or whatever, when the headset is not
Mhm.
upgraded by like to tethered headset, you still have to do some soul searching in the code to make sure that it's really running by itself, only headset on.
yeah, so yeah, maybe,
You put the game in, yeah.
I
Without
can
the
put the
game.
game on the video.
You prepare the scenes you want, just like he showed here. It is not the computer.
Edit?
you know how to do that, Quan?
Not really, yeah.
Do they, all right, so,
That actually they know, but they forgot. That's
Yeah.
the VR room tutorial
There's-
last thing.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
last, yeah, I'll put a note here, under your note here, see,
Then I also finished transferring all of it into 2022. There were some problems, but yeah, I told it this morning. But there's a problem when I'm running it is, here, let me just show you. When I go into plastic, it would show me this. And
Okay, so this is a plastic issue. You have to set up a time with me
Yeah,
because
I couldn't
plastic
change-
lost the
couldn't
connection to the original repository. You can see there, I cannot get the comment.
Yeah.
Although it knows which source in the cloud it is, it cannot find the same content on your computer. So we'll have to do this carefully.
Yeah, so it happens with most of my project, I don't know why.
Have you changed folders, location of the folders
No,
by
the
any
only,
chance?
the only thing I did yesterday was changing the content to the folders, but the folders is still there, probably, or half of them.
So this is one issue with version control system.
we can do this right when we're done with the
Yeah.
meeting today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's
we
do that.
actually have like a mock presentation at like 3:30, but yeah.
Yeah, we're about done with the.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna be done here at 3:30 as well. So it's-
Yeah, and I need 5 minutes with you, right? Before you do that with Junior, I need 5 minutes with you.
And after that, like most of my time this week was like spent on like the presentation. Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
So you did everything we asked you to do,
Yeah,
right? So we will just like test it. You test it. John is testing also the dialogue, just to make sure that the systems are really working bug free. And then we will move both of you forward.
right. Okay, so before we officially adjourn the meeting, Jonah, Quan, based on the list, you guys know what you need to do
Yeah.
for Monday, right?
Yeah. My goal was to be done with the dialogue,
Yeah,
pick up about. Move on, I moved on a little bit to the game menu, but.
Well, we need to do the journal manager as well.
Yes. So the game menu, it was already under Jonas' plate. There should be something else for you as well there. And whoever ends the tasks first, the journal manager and the gallery manager comes next, because we need to check if the code is working. And that's also something that Ms. Green is waiting for. Okay, for the desktop version.
all right. Anything else for the meeting today?
You should, I left two messages in the issues. One of our partners is Jacobsburg is wondering if they can borrow our 360 camera. I replied to them saying that it's out with one of our lab members and it's not in the lab. So I asked them to check in again next week. What happened is that Google deleted the Jacobsburg Google 360 photos that they had taken. So they are redoing the 360 photos around the area of the site. And the other thing, there are students from Lehigh Gas Expo asking when the recruitment is going to start for our group. So this is a question when I tagged you, I guess, maybe not, or maybe I should tag
Like
you.
recruiting for the expo.
When they got to know about our project, they are already wanting to know when the recruitment starts so that they can apply for our project.
Do they want to join in the fall or do they want to be for the next cohort?
I didn't get into details. I just said that I was going to check in, like circle this request into our documentation and in our meeting, and then get back to them. So I didn't get into details.
I mean, it would make sense if we the winter. Do people join in the fall? I feel like it's.
We tend to let, like graduate students in our program, if they want to join like for a semester, we do that. for Graduate students. I assume these are undergraduates.
I guess so. Jessica joined us in the fall after she volunteered in the summer.
Yeah,
I don't know if she joined as a fellow like this CIMQ course. or
See you
not.
Monday.
all right, thanks, Dave. You in town for a few weeks now?
I'm in town for the day.
All right, cool, thanks.
Yep,
Um,
yep, thank.
Here's my thought, Junior, let me know. If you- I'm a little concerned about having, maybe undergrads join for the fall just because of the onboarding process. What we could do is if they're really interested and want to, join for the next cohort, usually the recruitment is in November, but if they're really serious about it, we can give them access to the tutorials and course site and say, if you want to get started now and because there's a ramp up and we always have to require all our students who want to join us for, the year-long cohort, or even if they wanted to join us in the semester, they would have to get through all the tutorials and send us the architects. So I think that's a fair thing. We could say to them that we can get them into the course site if they want to get started, but there's about 30 hours worth of tutorials we want everybody to do before they start working with us. And if you wanted to have access to that, we could provide for that, and we typically recruit for the next cohort.
All right.
That sound good?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
All right, I guess I can.
Yeah, I think
Stop the
we're
recording,
done,
right?
right? Jillian, do you need Junior at all for